Greetings, Keishlings. Keishin Prime here, doing another live reaction of Attack on Titan, Chapter 88. Now, last month's chapter was pretty damn good. We found out who the secret agent Owl was. It's Kruger. And he saved, names. Grisha. It took me longer than it should have. And he's a Titan shifter, and presumably the same Titan form that Eren now has. So, probably why Grisha was able to give that form to his own son. So, maybe now we'll figure out how Grisha made it to the walls. Around the time the authorities, soldiers ran out of ammunition, the Owl, now a Titan, crushed their steamships into dust, which he spread across the ocean. Ooh, he just grabbed that soldier up and it didn't take much longer before all its soldiers were turned into what looked like squished and discarded fruit, then thrown into the ocean as well. He cleaned house. I'll need to explain to you what the ocean is. Chapter 88, The Attack Continues. The ocean is a gigantic body of salt water that occupies 70% of this planet's surface, that which has form will disappear, and only that with none will continue. Okay. The steamboats the Marley Public Security Authorities used to take us here, and everything those soldiers carried, every trace that they ever existed here on this island, had vanished, engulfed in the ocean. Yeah, maybe that's not Eren's Titan. It kind of looked like it last time, but maybe it could just be because it's a different person. Okay, Kruger's turning back now. Let's come back to the top of the wall. How did he maintain clothing? Well, I guess no, wait. I'm thinking of other things, like the Hulk. Okay, he cuts Grisha's bonds. So, anything you want to ask me? I don't know. Where do I even start? Sorry, but I don't have that kind of time. Owl, who are you? My name is Eren Kruger. Oh, now we know where Eren gets his name from. It was the man that saved his father. As I just showed you, I hold the power of one of the 9 Titans within me. In other words, I am one of the subjects of Ymir, just like you. So you pretended to be a Marleyan in order to infiltrate the authorities? But then, what about their blood tests? You only need a single cooperative doctor to deal with that. He too was a subject of Ymir. He had falsified his own medical records to pose as a Marleyan. Ooh. Doctors make good spies. They have the appropriate education and social standing, and they have the knowledge needed to study Titan chemistry. Honestly, you did a good job. You led the restorationists at a young age, and you had a child with Dina Fritz. Even your plot to make Zeke into a Marley soldier, it was a realistic plan, considering the support you would have had from me. Wait, what? I'm confused now. So was he referring to him as one doctor to change everything? But in the end, the results were just as lamented, weren't they? Yes, I was a terrible father, a terrible husband, and a terrible man. So why? Why am I the only one left standing here as a human? Dina, she was a subject of Ymir with royal blood. She was special. She could make full use of the power of the Titans. Wasn't it obvious? Even our Eldian children know that from their Marley history textbooks. If you hadn't suppressed that fact at the very least, Dina wouldn't have had to come here and be turned into a mindless monster. You are right. Answer me, Al. Why am I the only one you kept alive? Stop it. Think of your fingers. Oh yeah, I forgot his fingers had been cut off, haven't they? Thanks for the consideration, though you don't seem to be quite as concerned when it comes to snipping people's fingers off. Tell me, couldn't you have stopped them from having to become Titans if you had gone on a rampage with that Titan earlier? Tell me, why didn't you do anything? What purpose did you serve turning the Eldia restorationists into Titans? Oh, he kneeled. Hey, what's wrong? You've been looking pale for a bit now. Not just our compatriots. I cut off the fingers of thousands of subjects of Ymir. Thousands. I took them here and turned them into Titans. Women and children too. I believe I did it all to serve Eldia. Anyway, show me. Yes, I know. I'm short on time. Grisha, I'm entrusting you with my final mission. You and not anyone else. That day when we first met, if I hadn't called out to you and stopped you, you may have been able to save your sister. I think it's more likely that I would have been killed alongside her. It puts me at ease to know that you think that. But in any case, if that had never happened, you probably would have never hated Marley as much as you do now. Ooh. This is kind of a weird way how things came together. And that's why you picked me? It's part of it. An enemy state, your father, yourself. All the hatred I saw in your eyes seemed enough to reduce this whole world to ash. So Kruger is quite old. He just doesn't look it as much. I don't know why I never thought about that. I was once that way too. The remnants of the royal family that stayed on the continent formed a revolutionary army, and my father had joined. But the army wasn't able to do a thing. All of them, including their families, were burned alive. Oh. As a child, all I could do was watch from a crack in the closet as it happened. But he looks like Aaron. I was too scared to do anything else. My father's friends saved me just before my home burned down after that. I swore to get revenge on Marley and to restore Eldia. But what that really involved was taking fingers from the hands of compatriots I needed to be protecting, at times even skinning them, then kicking them down from here as I turned them into Titans. My full devotion to that is what kept my identity from being revealed until today. Maybe I'm still the same as then. I'm just looking out into the world from a crack in the closet door. Well, he's deep, man. Tell me, Al, what is this mission that you've left me? Enter into the walls and take back the founding Titan. Oh. Using the power of the Titan, you will inherit from me. Ooh. What? Then that means you'll become a Titan and I'll be eaten by you. It's impossible to reach the wall without the power of the Titans, and do the same to take the power of the founding Titan from its owner. Why don't you do it? I haven't told you everything I know, because my goal was to raise the morale of the I always want to say the wrong word. Restorationists. Whoever inherited the power of the 9 Titans will die in their 13 years. Will die in 13 years. Like 13. And I inherited it 13 years ago. Oh. If you had known that, you surely would have hesitated when it came to plans of having Zeke or Dana inherit the founding Titan's powers. The owl called it the Curse of Ymir. Oh, okay, now we're back to the present, it looks like. Aaron's still in the prison cell, and I think, yeah, that's Armin. Because they say Ymir, the originator, died 13 years after first awakening to her powers. No one can power that is greater than hers. Some of these translations. So when you approach that time, your body begins to weaken as the vessels finish serving its purpose. Oh, is Armin recording all of this so that they have more information on the Titans? And this was another memory that matched up with your dad's notes, right? Yeah. And when you consider that the Reese family aimed to have a succession every 13 years, too, that seems to confirm it. So I have 13 years? And Aaron, I have 8 years left, or even less. No. It has to be wrong. Oh no. She's been listening the whole time. It's wrong. If someone who holds the power of one of the 9 Titans dies without anyone inheriting that power, then the power of that Titan is then suddenly inherited by a baby belonging to the subjects of Ymir. Distant plays no factor in this at all, and neither do blood relations. So you can't help but think that maybe the subjects of Ymir are all connected by something invisible. One successor, they say, or they saw, paths. Paths invisible to the eyes. The blood and bones that formed a Titan were sent to them through these paths. At times, memories and some outside will came to them through paths as well. Oh, so I guess that explains how Aaron's remembering all this. and all of those paths cross at a single coordinate. In other words, that is the founding Titan. Oh, back to the past, or memory, I should say. All Titans, all subjects of Ymir are connected to that coordinate through paths that transcend physical space. That is the most recent opinion given by the Marley government's Titan Chemistry Research Society. Why do they have to have such long names? So you're saying that magic exists, and that our ancestor, Ymir, was a witch all along? So which is it? Under Marley rule, she was a pawn of the devil. Okay, now we're getting kind of imagery that we've seen before. During the Eldian Empire's rule, she was a god-given miracle. Were all of those historical documents you sent us nothing more than fuel for our morale too? So then what is the truth? What is our real history? Our ancestor, Ymir, was a girl who came in contact with the source of all organic matter, or material. There are some who say that too. Huh? There's no such thing as truth in this world. That is our reality. Anyone can become a god or a devil. All it takes is for someone to claim that to be the truth. 1700 years ago, or 1700 years of ethic cleansing. If there were truth, there wouldn't be a strand of Marleyan hair left on this planet. Our ancestor Ymir brought us nothing but wealth with the power of the Titans. That doesn't sound like any human I've ever heard of. I heard that Dana was part of the royal bloodline. From you too? Yes, that was another one of your truths. So that's why you abandoned her, unfortunately. Oh, so she wasn't a royal member then. It's a fact that Dana was of royal blood. She was probably the one thing that the Revolutionary Army didn't have taken from them. So then why? Because she was of royal blood. There was no way I could have let her fall into our enemy's hands. Zeke would surely tell Marley everything. It would only be a matter of time before they realized what he was saying was more than a child's babble. Even so, it would have been better for her to be forced to spend the rest of her life bearing children for an enemy nation until the day she dies. Honestly, being turned into a man-eating monster might be preferable to that. Not that I asked her, of course. But seeing her in those last moments, I made the right choice. At least I think I did. Still, it was entirely because I wasn't strong enough, that I wasn't able to save our other brothers and sisters. Only one person can reach the wall from here. The one person with the power of the Titans within them. I did my job. Now you do yours. Honest, I don't think I'm fit for the job. I didn't just destroy the Eldia Successionists, an organization you created. You're going to do it. Look at that. The man who delighted in feeding my sister to the dogs was just eaten alive by a Titan. Ew. I don't want to see gross. Because now he really is just gross. I mean, he's a half-eaten corpse. What the fuck? Why did the Titan just do that? There's no better revenge that I could have gotten than this. You asked me if I found it fun. No, I didn't. I couldn't bear to hear the repulsive screams he made as he died an agonizing death. I felt the same way when you were crushing your own men in your hands. I was just frightened. I haven't changed at all. Losing my brothers and sisters, losing my wife and son, the pain of having my fingers cut off. If I knew this was the price to pay for freedom, I never would have paid it. I'm sorry, but you've made a terrible miscalculation. I apologize. I can't hate anything anymore. Your father was a smart man. Yes, your father. The man who smiled and nodded at the authorities, even though they barely lifted a finger after his own daughter was killed. He was thinking of how not to lose any more of his family. He was desperate to make sure you stayed off the wrong path. But not only did his son not learn a thing from him, he even shipped his own wife and son straight to hell. Itchiness. Well, what are you trying to say? Stand. Fight. Didn't I tell you, Grisha Yeager? I'm short on time. There's still information I haven't told you yet. You're supposed to lead with that. You need to make a vow to me first, that you will fight again to restore Elvia's freedom and dignity, and that you will put your life on the line for it. If you'll fight, then stand. I can't. Look, I brought this from your home. He handed him a photo, I assume of his family. Yep, it's the photo from the book. Excuse me. I can't look. No will to look, no will to stand, no will to fight. Do you have no balls? Really? We're talking about, like, this is supposed to be like almost in a 40s like setting with some of the technology that they have, and you're saying it's like, you have no balls. No balls either? Have you been castrated by Marley? It's pointless to try to make me recall my hatred. All I have left are my sins. That's enough. The main reason I chose you wasn't because you hated Marley far more than any other. It's because you went past the wall that day. If you had never gone outside together with your sister, you would have inherited your father's clinic. You would have never met Dana. Your little sister would have been an adult by now, probably married. And Zeke never would have been born. Perhaps she... Oh, I'm reading all this shit out of order. Perhaps she would have been a mother. But you went past the wall. We sought freedom, and our brothers and sisters paid the price for it. There's only one way to pay them back. From the first day I kicked my countrymen off from this place, from the day you brought your sister outside the wall. Those actions will follow us until they're repaid, even if we die, even after we die. Okay, get a close-up of the picture. You began this story, didn't you? This is a powerful chapter. He stood up, which is likely, given he's clutching the picture against his chest because, well, he has no fingers. Or, not many. Each of the 9 Titans has a name. That includes the one you're about to inherit from me. No matter the age, this Titan has always moved ahead, seeking freedom. Boy. Okay, that's interesting. They all have names. Okay, and Grisha, presumably at this point, has already inherited the Titan's power. There's a it's a core member. The Survey Corps, that's it. It has fought on for freedom. Its name is the Attack Titan. The story that must not be stopped. Continued in the next issue. Oh, it's almost a name drop. So we have the Coordination Titan, the Attack Titan. I guess the Armored Titan would technically be, based on their own actual names, would be like the Defense Titan. And the Colossal Titan is just like the, I guess, maybe it's just the Colossal Titan, I don't know. Oh, well, that was a long one. Yeah, not as long as I thought. It's under 30 minutes. But, boy, I'm going to have to read that probably again just to fully understand it. But, ooh, that was a lot to digest. Alrighty. So now we kind of know how Grisham made it to the walls. And Kruger, presumably at this point, is now dead. So, until next chapter, next month, if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you next month with another live reaction